and you're watching Pro Teaches News. Ooh, is somebody talking about pros? Not that kind of pro. See you there.
Hey guys, welcome to another lesson of Pro Teaches News. You have with me Jared.
What's up?
And today we're going over Marvels, the book that launched Alex Ross's career. And without it, we wouldn't have had Kingdom Come. We wouldn't have had all those great covers of his.
That is marvelous.
Yep. And now you are aware, I have read the majority of Marvels, but you haven't read
I read the main
epilogue.
series.
But you've not read the epilogue.
No, I have not.
Technically that's one part that's still new, but just getting a chance to talk about this. And then at a later date, we'll get to Eye of the Camera, the sequel, of which the epilogue takes place between issues of. But yeah, what are you aware of with this book?
Well, yeah, exactly. I am aware that this was like the book that got Alex Ross and like the zeitgeist of comic book fandom. And this is basically an on-the-ground look at some of the stories from Marvel that are like some of its most well-known up until that point.
This truly gave us the man in the street, the world outside your window perspective. Are you grabbing yours?
Yeah, I'm grabbing mine.
I'm grabbing mine too. Hold on.
All right, I got it. And it just looks so gorgeous.
Wait, let me see it again. Oh, that traditional one. Well, I got the hardcover, the 25th anniversary one.
Of course you did.
Hey, it's like a Blu-ray. If it has better features, I get that version.
All right.
But yeah, so yep, let's just dive right in, shall we? Just look at that cover.
That just looks so good.
Oh, ooh, every page we're going to be gushing about.
Every page just looks like a poster.
Oh, look at Cap there.
Yeah, there you go. You know, I just realized, Robert, this is the first Marvel book you and I have discussed on a solo episode.
On a solo one, I was about to say, yeah. But, by the way, to point out something, Marvel's number 0, the one that the prelude to it, as you see here, Busiek was not involved. It was Steve Darnell, who, hold on, let me just actually find one book, because he and Alex Ross had worked on a different book beforehand. Hold on. Let me just find it. It was at Marvel. Hold on. Unfortunately, because it's only 2 letters, good luck finding that on Read All. Unless, hold on, let me try. Please tell me this works. Yep, there we go. The 2 of them have worked on, and I think this might have been one of his earlier works. I'm not sure. Oh, come on. Why does it do that? I hate when it just deletes something, when I'm, oh no, there it is. So hold on, let me stop the screen and share here. I'll put it this way first. The initials are US.
Okay, I can see why that would have some issues there. Okay.
Uncle Sam.
There you go.
So Steve Darnell and him worked on this before. And here, look at the artwork here.
Wow.
And very political.
Yeah. Well, when you're in a book called Uncle Sam.
Well, to be fair, this is not Freedom Fighters Uncle Sam.
Okay.
This is just Uncle Sam, the traditional Uncle Sam. Oh, look at that.
Hell yeah. That just looks so badass.
Yep. I'm just trying to double check when this book came out. But yeah, this was a Vertigo, of course. So 97.
Yeah.
So obviously this was well after Marvel. But yeah, he and Steve Darnell have worked together on plenty of times. But yeah, they worked on the issue 0, which we'll be getting to first. And but then Kurt came on. And there's a lot. Look at all the stuff in this book.
Wow. A lot of special features.
Issue 0. it is with considerable difficulty that I remember the original era of my being. Mary Shelley, Frankenstein. Just look at all this. I don't need to go over that a lot, but
it's all just really like incredible stuff.
And it goes all the way back to Marvel Comics #1.
The very first Marvel comic.
The Human Torch, the android Human Torch.
Something Hammond, right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Just look at this.
The way Alex Ross draws fire, it just like it actually glows.
It does. And yeah, remember, Alex does all the painting.
That's probably what it is because he's able to get more vibrant colors that way.
Now, just to make this clear, one, he's never traced.
No.
He takes photo references and then he eyeballs it.
Well, and not only that, he takes his own photos. He's not like Greg Land who just takes stuff from magazines.
From porn and all that.
Or from porn. No, he just legit just takes his own photos of people posing in the different poses he wants to do.
Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that at the end. We'll get to that at the end when we get to the bonus features. Because I want to show you the bonus features here.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just look at this start. But then issue 1. And look it leads literally right into #1.
That is cool.
There was fire in 39. Even I could feel it. I was nothing but a scrappy Brooklyn kid, still wet behind the ear. But we were a scrappy country back then. We KO'd the Great Depression, and the blaze in Europe didn't scare us. You believe that Hitler and his readiness for peace bunk? Yeah, well, he's pouring crack troops into the Rhineland. How soon you figure before we're in it? Ask Senator Toby. Once FDR finishes chewing him up, our fire was hotter, and we were ready to prove it. They're going to need good photographers over there, and I'm good. The name Phil Sheldon may mean nothing now, but you just wait and see. Europe's where things are jumping, where careers are being made. Yeah, where people are dying by the carload. Me, I'm not tired of sordid old New York yet. I don't think I ever will. But to each his own. When I run the Bugle, here we go again. As I was saying, when I run the Bugle, you can head the Foreign Bureau. Maybe, if I still feel like it. That's Jonah!
Oh, wow.
Look at him. You can tell.
That is so Jonah.
And he's saying, when I run the Bugle.
Mm-hmm.
Now, of course, this is ignoring the gradual comic book time.
Yeah.
For now, though, we're just working steps, and we take the jobs we get handed. Of course, some jobs are better than others. And on that note, I'll see you birds later. Got a juicy labor dispute to cover. Thanks for the ride, and have fun with your crackpot. Rub it in, why don't you? Go fry your hat, pal. The nerve of some people. I kept an eye out for photo possibilities, but I didn't expect any. Phineas T. Horton was one of those scientists. His Tamer series made Einstein seem like recipes for chicken soup. Welcome, gentlemen. I'm glad so many of you could come. And then it was a slow news day. You mean kind of like the death of Superman? I had to go there.
Nice. Yeah, there you go.
He spouted some dime novel rubbish about some synthetic man he was having trouble with. I thought about Europe and didn't pay attention until I'll allow some oxygen to enter the chamber. And you'll see why I call him, good Lord, the Human Torch. The sudden jolt and shock and terror rocked us back like a physical blow, but it only lasted a moment. Then common sense reasserted itself. The thing was a fake. It had to be. Check your calendar, Horton. Halloween's not for you weeks yet. And wait, what'd you do? Douse a mannequin in kerosene? We should have brought some marshmallows. I'd have scoffed too, but I was doing my job. Thinking a picture might make the back pages somewhere. So I was the only one looking directly at the thing. When it moved, it looked alive, as human as you or I, but it was on fire, and I swear, it looked straight at me. You want your name in the paper, Horton? But you'll get it, but not the way you hope. But gentlemen, that thing is a danger to the whole city. Destroy it or we'll force you to. I didn't know what to say on the way to the cars. I didn't think anyone did, but we knew our jobs, And extra, read all about Blazing Man of Fire.
By the way, the guy in front of the camera with the hat on looks like Clark Kent.
And Lois.
Yeah, I know.
Well, of course, he put a Clark and Lois in here.
Of course. Lois S always has to be included. You know, I gotta make the joke.
She's a reporter.
Robert, how often is it that I can make a Lois joke in a Marvel episode?
Ultimate.
Okay, that's a good point.
She was there too, remember?
Yeah, I know.
Hey, come on. Diana's not a reporter.
She's even better.
Oh.
And more relevant. But I'm only kidding. Robert, how often is it that I can make a Lois joke in a Marvel episode?
I just answered you.
I know.
But I get it. I couldn't help feeling sorry for Horton. That thing, it looked at me like a person, and what must it have been like to destroy it? I heard later he ended up burying it. Power of the press. Ouch! Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
But the weeks passed, and there were other kinds of fires. What do you think, sweetheart? The one in the blue box? There was work and life and the city by night. In my case, there was Dora's jacket. They're awfully pricey. I love you, but I don't want to break you. Let's do it, Doris. Let's take the risk. I can see it all, Doris. I'll make it to Europe, make a name for myself. I'll be able to give you all you deserve. The little house in Queens, the white picket fence, the works. Sounds great, but I settled for just you, safe and alive. There was no need for her to worry about that. I was immortal. We all were back then. Eee! That scream! There wasn't any real danger. This might be it. The scoop that'll convince Master Goodman to send me to Europe. Just opportunity. What is that? Stay away, Charlie. Make it stay away. But please, wait here, honey, where it's safe. I'll be right back. But when I round the corner, no! It was clear in their faces. They'd seen the stories in the paper, chuckled over them as they ate their eggs and bacon. But now those faces told a different story. A story of fear and awe, and a world cut loose from its moorings. Of course, I wasn't watching them. Chunk. I was just as I was wondering how the torch escaped, the thing and thinking that he looked as surprised and confused as we did, and at the same time telling myself that was ridiculous. That it was an object, not a person. He was gone, leaving behind nothing but flaming footprints that flickered and died in the chill night air. I must be seeing things. It was a trick of the light. Yeah, Phil. Too much bubbly. Propaganda. Some kind of German trick. What was it? I saw something in the sky. They couldn't comprehend what they'd seen, so they dismissed it. It was over. They're referencing how people in Marvel sometimes would just see something incredible, but then be shocked and awe at something not as big, but just as much later. Because it was so shocking, it was like, no, that was nothing. That was nothing.
Okay, that makes sense.
You know, it was over. They could shake it off now. But I'd seen it twice. And so while the rest of New York went back to business, dancing to Jimmy Dorsey and watching the war in Europe like a ball game, I waited for the other shoe to drop. Phil, thank God you're here. What is it, Doris? What happened? It was, steady, sweetheart, take a breath. I was on my lunch break. I took my sandwich to the waterfront like I usually do. And there was the man, Phil, the big, eerie-looking, naked man. He had a bandage girl. The police said he kidnapped her from the hospital. The police, they shot him, Phil. The bullets didn't hurt him at all. So wait, I just realized something. Jeff Johns took from Namor when he actually added the bulletproof tough skin to Aquaman.
Okay.
Because I don't think that was ever made clear for Aquaman beforehand.
Yeah, it's like with Wonder Woman, how they sometimes go back and forth on whether or not she's actually bulletproof.
Or can fly.
Yeah, exactly.
He picked up a police car. He threw it. He threw the car. He leapt into the water and looked back at the cops like they were just a nuisance to him. They were. They saved the girl, but the naked man just swam away without even coming up for air. Criminy, I've been hearing this submariner story all morning. He busted up a power plant, went flying over Central Park. It's all a load of hooey. It's one of them Orson Welles tricks. A bunch of bunk. only suckered believe in. Yeah, but I was there. I saw it. Just a trick, little lady. Phil, it's okay, sweetheart. You saw what you saw. They all agreed that she was wrong, and it was nothing. And I wondered how long they could keep it up. Not that long, as it turned out. Manhattan seemed like the whole world to us and to us sometime, but it was an island, and the marvels among us didn't exactly hide. Melted that poor man's car, caught a dangerous maniac, they say, a gang of hoodlums, especially in special flaming suits. And where'd they get that idea then? Not natural. That horrifying face stopped that racing scam a few weeks back. And just what he wants you to think. Whole subway tunnel was flooded and would have drowned for sure, saved us all. Who's to say he didn't start the flood in the first place? Ripped right through steel, shifted tons of metal and glass. And do we just say thank you to? Don't look those and don't like those ears at all. Again, Busiek is so good with this. Remember, this is the guy who did the Camelot Falls. Remember that?
Yeah, I do.
And it's the Perez Avengers run and JLA Avengers. Yep. And when you come right back down to it, the island wasn't that big. Look at this story. Human Torch flies medicine into Trap Town. Puh. Now, where's that easy wit of yours? That cheerful contempt for the world and everything in it? The things these freaks do, making shows look and like you and me look like pikers, and we just lap it up. I'd like to lock them up and throw away the key. That's enough. Food here is lousy anyway. Not that big at all. And this does give some interesting thing why Jonah picks and chooses. He doesn't mind people like Cap because it's not powers. Not the traditional
Has he ever
powers.
commented on Thor or the Hulk? I think the Hulk he has at one point.
Well, Hulk is a menace.
Hulk is a menace. I'll give you that. But it's like,
Spidey is the one. Spidey is the one who always wears a mask, a full face mask.
Most of the, well, yeah.
Not even Daredevil. Not even Daredevil. He still shows a bit of himself.
Okay, Thor does not wear a mask. Cap. Technically, everyone knows Steve Rogers is Cap, so it's not like hiding the secret identity.
Well, actually, no, that's more of a recent thing. There was a good length of time where no one knew. He actually had a secret identity as Steve.
Oh, really?
And get this, you know what joke at one point they did during Mark Gruenwald's run? He actually drew at Marvel Comics on the Captain America book.
Ah, there you go.
And remember, comics in Marvel are based off of the events. Now, granted, in universe, the comics are released well after the events. So it's a bit, off, Okay, how is this of Human Torch hearing all this?
I love that.
Yep. It is around then that I finally got my chance to go to Europe. But you're turning it down? Phil, you've been begging for this for months. I know, Mr. Goodman. Goodman! The Marvel editor!
Archie Goodwin.
No. Goodman, the Stan's boss.
Yeah.
That was not Archie Goodwin. That's a completely different guy.
Oh, okay.
Archie Goodwin was the guy who eventually gave us stuff like Long Halloween.
Okay.
I know, Mr. Goodman, and I can't explain it. I'd just rather stay
here.
Martin Goodman. Stay for now. What could I say? That the city had changed somehow and things just didn't seem right anymore? I'm sorry. That's still how I felt. It's not like there hadn't been mystery men before. The Angel, the Phantom Eagle, even as far back as the Rawhide Kid. But this was different. These new creatures, they were more than human. It was Doris and her mother all Twitter over wedding plans. What do you think, Phil? Pink or mauve? Mauve. Whatever. They're both fine. Phil, is something wrong? You've been jumpy as a cat all evening. It's nothing. I'm fine. I'm going out for a smoke. How was I supposed to be a husband, maybe a father, in a world where any moment a monster could come crashing through your wall? Marvels, I called them, and that's what they were. Next to what? What were we? Before they came, we were so big, so grand. We were Americans, young, strong, vital. We were the ones who got things done. So we've gotten smaller, but we've gotten smaller. I could see in those those same faces. Faces that had once been so confident, so brash. We weren't the players anymore. We were spectators. We were waiting for something without knowing what it was. In the late spring of 1940, fellas, Mr. Goodman wants all of you in his office pronto. You ain't gonna believe what's happened. The waiting stopped. The Submariner was pitching a fit and taking it out in the city, and the chief of police sicked the Human Torch on him. It was as if the guy, and yeah, the first hero fight. Mm-hmm. This really was the first hero fight when you think about it. And you think about water versus fire. Mm-hmm. Like it was that as if this
was also kind of the first crossover, I think.
Yeah, it was. Mm-hmm. It was as if the gods of legend returned to Earth. At least if you read about it in the papers, that is. To follow the Marvels through their combat as the Submariner bolted from landmark to landmark, sowing destruction, the Torch a streak of fire on his tail. It must have seemed like a glorious aerial ballet. Dangerous, beautiful, and thrilling. And maybe it was, but not for us. What we saw was carnage and destruction and confusion. Cripes! Look at it, and look at the L. Mm-hmm. Which way, kid? That way, towards the Empire State Building. And frightened people who felt safe a minute or two ago, trying to get out of the way, but not sure which way to run. I got to get some photos. We barely even saw any of the action. It moved so fast. Look, there he goes. I'm not a fan of that guy. I don't hold with people built from a kit. I'm built from a kit. But right here and now, I hope he gives that water breather jerk what for. Don't say that. You don't know what you're talking about. Huh? And you are? Petty Dean, policewoman. I've met Namor. He's only trying to get what he considers justice for his people. You shouldn't judge him until you know both sides of the story. People? There's more than one of them? And hey, did you hear that Submariner guy just flooded the Holland Tunnel and it's full of cars? I've got to get to a phone. You'll have to excuse us, Officer Dean. Much as we like to listen to you make excuses for a rampaging maniac, we have work to do. I like that too.
Yeah.
Someone who's being reasonable, but it's like, you can't deny what he's doing, lady. Like, we didn't catch up to either of them at the tunnel or the Central Park Zoo or the George Washington Bridge. It wasn't until they reached the Statue of Liberty that we got more of a glimpse of them. See, up there on the statue. And it was that, and at that, it was from quite a distance. The Submariner's blown out the Torch's fire somehow, and he's thrown him off. We held our breaths as the Torch burst into flames again. But too late. He hit the drink, and look, that fish-faced rat's diving in after him. Can robots drown? The Torch escaped some minutes later, and later was hidden from us by a coal barge, so we missed that too. But at least I finally reached the phone. You all right, Doris? Nothing? No, there was some noise and the building shook, but that's all. It's you I'm worried about out there and all that. Look, get into Langens and wait for me there. There'll be newsmen there, so if anything happens, you'll know right away. And the building's solid as a rock. Phil, kiss it for me and hang up. And we're going to Radio City. What? He kidnapping the Rockettes now? Whole television studio, take a gander. This is Prince Namor, the Submariner, with a message for the so-called Human Torch. This is my final warning. Get off my trail, Torch, or suffer the consequences. Of course, all we found at Radio City was scared employees, wrecked equipment, and holes in the wall. The Torch and the Submariner had hot-footed it upstate, and the roads were too jammed with panicked New Yorkers to follow. So while they wheeled and soared and clashed in the spring sunshine, we kept in the shadows and strained for any word of them. Can't you get any better reception than that, Langian? Report the latest development. The Human Torch had imprisoned the Submariner beneath a sheet of flame in an upstate reservoir, but the undersea dynamo freed himself, even as the army bombed his fiery prison. We will continue to bring you updates as they occur. But now we're from blast them. What is it, Phil? What's wrong? Look at us, just sitting here waiting. There isn't a thing we can do. And this is our city, our world. Who gave them the right to just come in and take it away from us? And look alive, kids. Police pool says the Torch is back in town and headed for the Torpy Chemical Works. He's up to something, all right. Let's move. As luck would have it, the police said, most of this is just the first issue and dealing with that battle. But boy, Phil, I gotta hand it to you. You're one smart guy, huh? If you'd taken that job, you'd be on a steamer to Europe right now, and you'd be missing this. Who cares about the war in Europe anymore? We got our own war right here, and this time we're Johnny on the spot. It was the first thing I heard in all of this that made any sense. It was like a war, and not just the battles, but the very fact of the marvels themselves. A war or some freakish violent storm. And all we could do, all anyone could do, was hold fast and hope to ride it out. It's that cop. It's that cop, that Dean woman. She's gotten them to make nice to each other. I don't believe it. They're actually smiling at each other. As if if they shake hands, I'm definitely going to throw up. Just like that, it was over. And of course, there was no reprisals, no punishment. Nobody got hurt but us, the normal people. And nuts. The Torch had let him go after all he did. That ain't fair. And that ain't fair. Forget it, Iggy. You expect the storm to pay for the damage it caused? A war to care who gets killed? Huh? Just forget it. The next day dawned like nothing had happened at all. Everybody at their and put their backs into digging out, repairing the damage, just like ants. And we all grumbled, and we all said something ought to be done. But what was there to do? What was there for a man to do? I found Doris at a makeshift clinic on the east side. This is Mr. in Compton, Phil. He was in the L when it went down. Some ride, and some ride, you bet. Woo-wee! Doris, can you spare a minute? What happened yesterday? What's been happening for months? It'll blow over. It can't keep on forever. But until things are sane again, well, a man's nothing next to those things. Phil, what are you saying? Maybe we should put our wedding plans off for just a while, just until this is all over. I don't want a Superman, darling. You don't understand. A man's got to be able to protect his family. If he can't do that, he's got no business being a husband. If that's how you feel, Phil, you better have this back. I wouldn't want to burden you, Doris. If you ever want to give it back, you know where to find me. When this is over, I'd say, when would that be over? It would blow over. The world wouldn't stay like this. It couldn't. Could it? Fall turned into winter, and 40 to 41, and nothing changed. Everything was in turmoil everywhere. So I want to call her. I stared at the telephone for 2 hours last night, but you're an imbecile, Phil. Things changed, but not the way you expected. But I always have to be the Nazis. I don't want to. Take a listen, Phil. I want to be Captain America. Okay, then I'm a Ratsy dive bomber, and I'm dropping my bombs all over. Don't be stupid, Maxie. Bombs don't mean nothing to Captain America. Look at it. He's the best. Look at all this.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, was Cap now inspires him to go. That's Captain America. He'll give Hitler what for? Did you see those pictures in Life magazine? Those shoulders, those eyes. He's doing and what we ought to be doing, taking the fight to the man and that started it. I can't wait till we're in this. You'll see some stuff then. So yep, and then because of that, and seeing all this other stuff, a bit more, and finding out that Namor's taking charge in the war with Cap as part of the invaders.
There you go, and the Torch.
Yeah, and the Torch. And Bucky.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and soon, yeah, and it struck me as odd at the time to applaud two men who caused so much destruction so recently. I was too busy cheering.
Mm-hmm.
But yep. So I'm gonna start breathing through this. I can't read through everything. We'll be here forever.
As fun as that would be.
I mean, it's great dialogue.
It's great stuff. We're really here for the Alex Ross art in the issue at the end. So.
Yep, but yeah. So she meets up with Doris again and decides, they actually get married, and but he decides he's gonna go over to the war because over there because the war started. So he's drafted.
Okay.
Yep. Oh! This stops now. Like I was a part of it. I was right where I belong. Basically, he now realizes, yes, they'll do wrong, but they're so incredible because they're still doing good too.
Mm-hmm.
I was the witness, and then hit in the eye.
And that's how he loses his eye.
Yep. How do I feel? You mean aside from wondering whether a monocular vision will improve my photography? Am I mad at the Marvels for taking my eye? Am I going to swear vengeance on them, devote my life to destroying them all, or driving them out of our world so everything can be the way it was again? Is that what you're asking? Something like that? Nah, I'm going to have more important things to do. There's a war going on for one, and we've got a wedding to plan. So I love that they poke fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like, am I going to become a supervillain? Nah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I say he's recovered because he's a good man. And then, oh, there are the invaders.
Hell yeah. End of book 1.
Yep.
Now we get Angel.
We get to the X-Men. Yep. Now, many years have passed by this point. He's got a must. There's Cap. Oh, look at Cap there.
That's such a good picture. Thor.
Yep, we've actually jumped into the actual age of the Marvel. So beforehand was just the Golden Age, the Stanley was involved, but pre-Fantastic Four and everything. Back when they were all just randomized here and there, but not truly the Marvel Universe.
Mm-hmm.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that!
Oh, yeah. I love the sense of scale that Alex Ross always brings in.
Yep, and because of that, that image gets them a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and yeah, again, he keeps calling them the Marvels, and he wants to get all these photos of it and everything. But yeah, we get the fan, and I was gonna write a book, and how would it start? I love this. Greco, then Gilman, Roland, and King Arthur. Name of legend, but nah, too highbrow. Oh, look at this! Look at this! Colorful costume, peculiar name, astonishing powers, put them together, and nah, too corny. I love that. And notice, look at the writing. One is more fanciful, and the other one's a bit just plain.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Oh, and look at this. Clothing inspired by the wonderful Wasp.
There you go.
Yep. And they tried to kill him. Who? A construction worker. They just attacked him for the thrill of it. No, I mean, somebody's got to do something. So, the X-Men. And we see Phil gets caught up into the mutant stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He's caught up on it.
Yeah.
Because why wouldn't he?
Yeah.
As far as he thinks, they're freaks.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But I believe there is a point where he does wonder, like, it's because, you know what really scares him the most? And I think can explain why people separate it. Whereas Captain America and Mr. Fantastic spoke to us about the greatness within us all. Basically, the mutants were homo superior. That's why.
But they cheer for someone that's literally the god of thunder.
True, but he's a guy who's existed before. He didn't come out of nowhere. Mutants, as far as they know, came out of nowhere.
Still.
And claiming that you are all obsolete.
Not all of them.
No,
they've been very vocal about that.
But in the initial point, even though when the X-Men themselves call themselves homo superior, they might not have said it, but they were indirectly saying it.
It still doesn't work.
No, but he's doing the best he can.
I appreciate that. I appreciate the attempt.
But yeah, they have daughters here and everything, and like I had to be the Hulk. Jenny always makes me have to be the bad guy. I do not. I let you be Spider-Man. Remember, Spider-Man, Zicky. I didn't ask if they ever played X-Men. And then they think the kids are running. Him doing all this stuff. Like, who would protect us from the mutants? Again, all of this dialogue is about how dangerous they are. And it seems like, the other Marvels could stop them.
Yeah. Which, no, they couldn't.
Yep. And then they see Thor. Where's he headed? Avengers Mansion? Probably try to get him to autograph the pieces, because some people would do that.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. Look at that photo of his.
I love that.
Yep. And he's, look at Reed and Sue.
There you go.
Yep. Here, Johnny, of course, was there some pretty teenager? Oh, Tony.
Mr. Stark.
Yep. Now remember, by this point, Tony was He was recognized, but he wasn't the third. It wasn't him, Thor, and Cap.
So it wasn't like he was a member of the Marvel Trinity.
No.
Okay.
People forget that Tony was just there.
Yeah, because people have a lot.
People recognize him as one of the founders of the Avengers. Probably one of the bigger names by comparison. Second to Steve as regular leader, but not beyond that.
I think it's because people have like a skewed memory because of his movie.
Mm-hmm. And now ever since then, they treated him like he was one of the big dogs.
Which he never was.
Always been. Oh, look who's there.
Oh, Professor X. Oh, okay.
Jean and Cyclops in disguise.
All right, there you go.
And at least he's not one of those horrible muties.
Okay.
So even Ben is being said, at least he's not a mutie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look, there's Hank and Janet.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so they head home. Now they see the girls are clearly trying to keep something secret. Shush, shush. Oh, we find out about Reed and Sue getting engaged.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, geez, look at that.
I love that.
I love this. It's both realistic and yet still comic booky.
Yeah, exactly. That's what Alex Ross really excels at.
Yeah, he doesn't go too ultra realistic.
Mm-hmm.
There's always that little bit of a comic bookiness to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. The Sue Storm wedding special. Things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Sue and Storm are adopted by the Frightful Four and the Frightful Four. Yes, it's true. The original Avengers have taken a leave of absence, and we 4 soldiers will be on their stats. So that's when we got Cap, Wanda, Pietro, and Hawkeye.
Mm-hmm. And I see Daredevil.
Yep.
Fighting Stilt Man.
Yep. But then they hear about there's a mutant there. Mutants here? It wasn't fair. We worked so hard to give our family a good life, to keep them safe. And then they said that because they think the girl had like a puppy or an animal, like a stray dog. Mm-hmm. Remember the stray dog, the one we thought the girls were seeking food for? Look.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a mutant girl.
Mm-hmm.
How long has it? I couldn't think. Was it contagious? If the girls had touched it, if they'd been affected somehow. We found her in the park, Daddy, after that big storm. She was all wet and cold. I was hungry, mister, or I'd have kept hiding. Daddy got fired out of his work. Mommy cried all the time. They said they couldn't take care of me anymore, that it was all my fault. They went away. They were evil, the mutants. They wanted to kill us all. Everybody knew that. Are you going to send me away? She's nice, Daddy. She played with us. Nick Cosgrove and Arthur Lindstrom out there with their guns. They were our friend. They were friends of ours. We played bridge with them. But I knew they'd burn this house down and us in it if they knew we were sheltering a mutant. They were scared, and they were that scared. I was that scared. But there was something else in its eyes. And they couldn't help think of the liberation of Auschwitz and the look in their eyes. And, Dad, dear God, Doris, she's just a little girl. I love that.
Yeah.
Right.
That's kind of what it is.
Right there.
Mm-hmm.
He realizes everything he's convinced about, they're horrible, but he's like, it's just that moment where you just calm down and you realize, oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
She's just a girl.
Mm-hmm.
So, yep. And then you have all this other stuff. You're like, they're building up, again, most of this focuses on the X-Men and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then, and also we get the wedding.
There you go.
Look at that.
There's Daredevil and Doctor Strange.
And Doctor Strange, Quicksilver, and all
Iron
that.
Man,
stuff.
Thor, Hawkeye.
Jonah. Norman. Norman's right next to Jonah.
Nick Fury all the way in the back.
Of course. Yeah, just so many.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta say, this is definitely him at his more looser pencils, I've realized.
Yeah, probably.
Would you agree with that? Like, it's still that detail, but yep. And then they're showing off the Sentinels. We are the Sentinels. We serve no one. All this insanity going on, and they worry if these Sentinels go looking for them, they'll come to their house.
Mm-hmm.
So he's watching all of this insanity, riots, and everything happening. Oh, just look at all this.
Mm-hmm.
Why do I feel this moment here was people taking advantage of the right to go after someone they hated?
Probably. That's what it is.
That's what it looks like, right?
Mm-hmm.
Help, please, my leg. It's all right. It's just trapped. You're going to be okay. It was only fitting that the Sentinels ended. After all, they've been the ones to finally touch it off. They must have been scanning for mutants or to catch them, but the light, it made us look around, made us see. And then we were thinking, and we were just people again. People in a street full of broken glass. It's okay. I can walk. Oh, my Lord. Doris, the girls! They head back, unfortunately. Dear Mr. Sheldon, thank you for everything, but I have to leave. I do not want your family to get hurt because of me. I took some food. Thank you for the new clothes. Love, Maggie. She was out there, alone, on this of all nights, Night of the Sentinels!
Mm-hmm.
And we would never know what happened to her.
Jeez.
Daddy, is Maggie going to be all right? I don't know, Jenny. And again, all these other events, and I'll go over it, all these events they're referencing actually happened.
That's the really cool part about this series.
None of this is made up. No moment here is made up.
Yeah, this is all this is essentially a retcon showing this is when it was also happening.
Not a retcon, it's a reveal. A retcon would be, oh, something already happened here. No, we were just given a perspective.
Okay. It's another perspective of what's going on.
Exactly. Oh, now we're getting into Galactus.
There you go.
No, those things are getting bigger and bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And look at this job now that he has.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's much higher up and everything with his photos.
Yeah.
Yep. You see the Avengers there. And Playboy magnate Tony Stark is MAA today in the war of the words between Stark Industry and Washington. Carver's spokesman said he's vanished, but his reporter guesses that wherever he is, it involves champagne and starlets. Issues a subpoena directed at Anthony Stark to appear before Senator Byrd's investigation committee. So all this other stuff going on. She meets up with Stark, goes to Stark Industry. Now we see him at the zoo. Again, just look at all this. Mm-hmm. Judgment Day, I have proof.
Mm-hmm.
3 signs and an apocalypse. 3 signs and then Judgment Day. Daddy's scaring me, us. And of course, you're going to have some of what the Avengers do would cause this.
Mm-hmm.
Spidey, of course, is now running around.
Mm-hmm.
Phil, and dinner, eat without me, honey. I'm in the middle thing. Phil, now he's becoming a bit more of a workaholic.
Mm-hmm.
Daredevil accused of murder.
Okay.
My photos showed heroes, but were they accurate? Atomic power had been an astonishing miracle once, too, before the Cold War, before it became something to fear. Were we misjudging the Marvels? Or are we simply starting to see them for what they really were? So basically now he's well past now the ooh, ah period.
Mm-hmm.
Now, like, the high is coming down, and now he's starting to question things.
Yeah.
Whoa!
That just looks gorgeous.
Wow!
Silver Surfer, there you go.
Yep, the Surfer shows up. And then Galactus! Look at that!
That is just, that's like the biggest, like, give up all hope image right there.
And we see how things were from, oh, and look at it, look at Ben!
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they show up there, they fight, just look at all this.
I love it.
This is the issue I think that sold this series, more than anything.
I would say so, because a lot of the images that I see of that is of at least the image of Galactus standing in New York.
Yeah, and it's showing us truly the big moment where everything for Marvel changed.
Yeah.
And oh, just look at that. He's putting his machine together. We're seeing all this perspective going on. Oh, look at that.
Yeah, that's the image. That is the image.
Of everyone looking. If this was really the end, I knew where I wanted to be. Oh, look at all this.
Looks so good.
It's the end of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. I'm a sinner. So, of course, everyone thinks it's the apocalypse.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look at that. Surfer turning on him.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's trying to make it back home. And then it ended.
Mm-hmm.
And then a real nail biter, folks, a triple red alert squeaker. But it's over now. Now that it's over, they're just calm down now.
I love how they turn it. They basically talking about like it's a sporting event.
Well, beforehand, well, that's afterwards. But then Jonah calls it a hoax.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I call them as I see them, Phil. I always have. You know that. But Mr. Jameson, Parker, what have you got for me? Pictures of Spider-Man fighting that looter character. You'll love them. They make old Spidey look terrible. Mr. Sheldon, fabulous, perfect. Now there's unbiased journalism in action for you. If I were Spider-Man, I'd beat the stuffing out of that little weasel. Phil, you hear the news? Other than the fact that an obit column's a lot shorter than it might have been, what is it? Senator Byrd went ahead and canceled Stark's defense contract. SI is expecting to start announcing plant closing by the end of the week. Good. That'll teach that uppity Iron Man to save lives. Now he's starting to realize people are turning on these heroes. After everything they've done.
But if you notice, turn back a page. Right there, bottom left. It's Alex Ross's father.
Yep. And the minister. Norman McKay. Yep.
I was like, wait a second here. That's the thing I love about Alex Ross books. Whenever I go back to them, I'm still discovering new stuff.
Yep, I love it though. Did you hear? Mutants all the time with those. Have to bother anyway. Can't they just keep to? Ought to put those X-Men in jail. Like, you people, what do you need? The world actually end? Are you so busy digging for garbage you can't even admit to yourselves that you're grateful? Look up, why don't you? Look up for once in your lives.
Wow.
Uh-oh. This is the moment that breaks him.
Yeah.
And this is where the Silver Age ends for many people.
Yeah.
Yep, he finally got his book out there.
And he's using that image of Giant Man. It's a great image. He said, look up.
Oh, we got this Kree Skrull War.
All right, there you go.
Yep. All the stuff like Face of a Murderer. Because this is after Captain Stacy's death. Oh, look, MJ.
MJ, she's looking good.
Yeah, wait, that's not MJ.
That's not?
That's Widow.
Oh, okay. Still looking good.
It's hard to tell.
All the redheads in Marvel look alike.
And unfortunately, there's one downside. Sometimes some of Alex's women look the same. Like this face, I think he uses the same model for her as he's used for Black Canary.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at her. Look at her. Look, yeah, that looks like what you saw of Dinah in Kingdom Come, right?
Yeah, kind of.
There's Jonah there, of course. Four wounded and Stark riots and everything. Everything is like really starting to get a bit bleaker, grimmer. Again, we're like, they save us and we insult and belittle them. We're just blind to the truth about them. Doesn't that seem odd to you? Nope. I think you've been thinking about this way too much, Phil. So he's still trying to defend them. And now basically, Marvel is settling into the whole let's turn on the heroes.
Okay.
This is when things are starting to settle into that. And Phil is trying to hold on to the old idealism. And it's hard. Oh, look at that.
Yeah. That's such a great image.
Yep. Oh, meet up with Luke Cage.
Power Man.
Oh, by this point, this woman here is his assistant.
Okay.
This is where we get the alternate perspective from this crazy old bat claiming, yes, I was there, Mr. Sheldon. I saw it all. It was terrible the way the two of them went at it. Doc Ock and Spidey. But that's Spider-Man. He didn't want witnesses. When he saw the crowd, well, he threw that chimney at us just as sure as I am sitting here. I don't know whether he was aiming at Captain Stacy or just got lucky. But when he found out he hadn't killed him, not all the way, well, he carried him away to finish off later. Horrible, man. Just horrible. Seemed hard to believe. Spider-Man saved so many lives. Now, this moment, I love this moment. She told you what? Amazing what some people say to get attention. She probably even believes that's what she saw by now. The truth is, we don't want Spider-Man for the murder, just for questioning. But the Bugle, don't believe everything you read in the papers. Captain Stacy was one of us. We want his killer worse than you know. The forensic says that chimney was toppled by something hard and metallic. And which one of the two on the roof does that fit? We can't question Spider-Man, so we got no case. I love that! The cops didn't hate him!
Mm-hmm.
The writing made you think they did, but then Busiek reveals, nope!
Yeah.
They just want to talk to him!
Yeah.
Now that's a little bit of a retcon. Slight retcon. Or you could say it's either a retcon or looking from a different perspective.
Mm-hmm.
The girls are growing up and everything. Playing Monopoly.
Mm-hmm. I remember those games.
Officials have reversed earlier denials and released these photos taken by the UN Star Corps station. They seem to show some unknown objects in organized formation, traveling towards us from the sun itself. There's something there's going on. Oh, and now, there you guys, interview about Captain Stacy. Thanks for agreeing to speak on the record, Jonah. My life's on the record. I have nothing to hide. You've recently written articles accusing Spider-Man of kidnapping Dr. Jorgensen, the blood specialist, and of proving himself yellow by not stopping a crime wave. Yes, so how can you exhort Spider-Man to act by calling him a coward, but when he does act, you label him a criminal? Phil, if he was a hero, if your Marvels were truly the noble, selfless crusader they claim, how could the rest of us measure up? How could we meet that standard? But Jonah, what does that have to do with? Nothing. It has nothing to do with the case. Spider-Man is a glory-seeking fraud, and I'll expose his hypocrisy, whatever. Sir, it's coming all over the teletype. The Avengers have been signed in Australia. It's something to do with the Sentinels and those things from the sun. Oh boy! So, I have to feel there's meant to say there's a bit of jealousy or feeling inferiority.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Aka's captured, all that. Oh boy, just again, all this stuff. Everyone's just seem to be going good. And then he's heading on over to meet with Doc Ock. Don't try to match wits with me, photographer. You're gonna be in jail a long time, Doctor. Why not do the honorable thing? Left Spider-Man off the hook. I confirm or deny nothing. Why should I? When it's so much fun to see him squirm. He never confesses, not in so many words, but he wanted me to know he'd done it. Wanted me to admire the skill with which he framed Spider-Man, whether he intended to or not. And now there's Gwen. Oh, God, this is some of the most beautiful.
Yeah, she's just gorgeous.
Unfortunately, though, this is the point when you started having those love letters to Gwen.
Mm-hmm.
This and Spider-Man Blue, where it reworks Gwen into being the perfect angel, when, let's be honest, she never really was.
Yeah, and then that leads to Sin's Past.
To be fair, that's not what JMS wanted, and you know it.
No. I don't blame JMS for that at all.
That was Quesada.
A lot of what people hate about that run was like editorial. So I do not blame him for Sin's Past, but I'm like, Marvel editorial and Quesada, you suck.
They do, but again, it felt like JMS was trying to taint Gwen to reveal she isn't that perfect flower. This sainted.
Yeah, but there are other ways you could do that.
True, but I said by this point, this is when we had the sainted Gwen era. This is what started the sainted Gwen era. Unfortunately, thankfully that's died down.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that? But you weren't there, dude. You weren't there. There was a point where, especially unfortunately because of Alex Ross, did you know he was always at the belief of Peter settled for MJ?
Well, it's kind of hard to settle after Gwen dies.
No, that's what I mean. Gwen was his one true love, and MJ was just the rebound.
I don't believe that.
That is what Alex Ross has said. He even
what I mean is that I personally don't agree with Alex Ross.
I don't either. Of course, this is the same guy who actually uses the pronunciation for Super Friends for a lot of the characters. He actually calls Darkseid Darkseid and Mixie Spitter like Mixelplick because in his eyes, that's the official pronunciation.
Yeah, and the way he draws characters is very much in that more classic era where like everything's out of cloth, which is fine. It works for him. I'm not knocking him at all.
Right. But yeah, like I hate how. Of course, we do see how she talks about like I hate him at first. I knew it was his fault, but I'm not so sure. So again, this is a retcon. Trying to add in her actually feeling like Spider-Man's a good. My father thought Spider-Man's a good hero, so I'm starting to think he is. That is a retcon. Again, trying to purify her.
Yeah, because she hated Spider-Man after her father died, right?
Oh, okay. Look at this. Again, beautiful artwork, but this was the moment.
Next page. Yeah, right there. The sun. Literally, the heaven's sun is going right toward her.
Can Alex Ross be any more blatant about how much he adores Gwen?
Yeah, she's the. It wouldn't be surprised if he tries to retcon that she's like the reincarnation of Mary from the Bible.
Too much. I think even for him that'd be too much.
Yeah.
But the fact that now we gotta still blame Kurt too, though. But Kurt, I think, was following up on what Alex wanted to draw. But yeah, she even says though that she has, notes and everything that could absolve Spidey, which is what he wanted. But then that day, again, that's a retcon. Basically, she was going to give him stuff that could absolve, or her journal that could absolve Spidey. That's a retcon.
Yeah, there you go.
And then, by this point, people have forgotten about the snap. Now, and that's the moment where he stopped caring. I tried to tell me she was unconscious, but a body looks alive one way and dead and another way when it's dead. I've seen enough of both to know the way it is. The rest is a blur. The police, the other reporters, the ambulance, and she was still dead. And Stacy, and look, they focus on Norman. Stacy's daughter gets buried in paragraph 10. He failed her. They all failed her. Now this, again.
They all failed her. Yeah.
I get it. I get what Busiek is going for. It's meant to be the symbolic moment of that's the death of the Silver Age. And it does it does work there to a point, but given and I don't think, obviously, I think Alex Ross was going for it, but Busiek was not.
Yeah.
Can we agree to that? This was Kurt Busiek trying to just say, that's the moment the Silver Age died, and that's the moment Phil lost everything. Can you agree to that? That's the moment Phil. But it's what happened afterwards. That's when it became, same thing, Gwen. Peter never really loved MJ. He loved Gwen. He just settled for MJ. Which is ironic because I went over Spider-Man Reign at 2 with just beforehand, in the video beforehand, and what did that show? MJ is his true love. Yeah. And of course, I read later there was the shock of the fall that killed her, but it still looked like it didn't matter. She was still dead. They hadn't saved her. At least try to work on the book. Marcy has been pulling photos, really good ones. But then look, this is the point where the dark period started. You know what I mean? And then there's the christening of Franklin Richards. I remember that day. Traffic was lousy. I missed the Mets game, and they won in the 9th. I don't understand. All the things you've done, all this, it's like it means nothing to you. There's so much more you could do. Maybe a film on the Marvel, the documentary thing, like that Daredevil footage we saw. But then Hulk and the X-Avengers called Hawkeye revealed the monster. It just went on. The battle reached the waterfront. Whoosh! And it was never going to stop. Not even if I held my breath until I turned blue. Spidey Bay saying he's lost the fire, but she doesn't have to. You want to know what I love about how this ends? Yeah. No more Marvels for me. Time to retire. And he's like, let's go, Doris. Let's get Doris in this too. She's been waiting for this for years. Take our picture with, what's your name, Sonny? Danny Keach. Take our picture with young Mr. Ketch. A nice, normal, ordinary boy. I know who Danny Ketch turns into. Not yet though, but still.
Yeah, you know,
But
he's
it's
quite the writer.
The best part though, this works on 2 levels. If you don't know who it is, it goes right over your head. Nice moment. If you know who it is, you're like, he's saying when he says a nice ordinary boy comes off as ironic.
It's like you never know.
Now here's the epilogue. Now this would be more towards the 70s and 80s. You know, late 70s, early 80s. All right, hey Bob, nice patch. Wolverine saying nice patch. From the war? Just before, really. What? You got a light? Oh, no, sorry. I don't smoke. Could have fooled me. I didn't know what he was talking about. I hadn't had a cigarette in almost a year. Had a health scare and had to start taking care of myself. But things were looking up, and I was even back to work. Dad, hey, Dad, come look. Another book about the Marvels. I guess I just wasn't in the mood to give up after all. Again, to get up to this point would be the first couple issues of Marvel Eye of the Camera. This is in the middle of it. So basically making clear he had regained his love of the Marvel. So basically Marvel's ended with a deconstruction, but then Marvel Eye of the Camera reconstructed everything where he relearned to love them during the dark period.
Okay, I see.
So this is basically making it clear for those who haven't read Eye of the Camera, but makes it clear, no, he actually gets happy again about it.
Okay, that's
Let's
good.
be honest, this is a bittersweet ending and just trying to be happy.
Yeah, particularly if you know who Danny Ketch turns into.
Well, no, not that part. I'm talking about for Phil. Phil's, look at his wife even there. She's a bit like, Phil, are you all right? But yeah, and they're at Rockefeller Center and everything. The daughters are taking up on photography. Yep, and I just love it how and look at the X-Men.
There they are. Hey,
Yeah,
Storm.
Storm, Banshee.
Oh yeah, it's the giant size X-Men era.
Yep, and I'm pretty sure Nightcrawler's in a disguise. I think.
He would need to be.
Yep. Oh, and then Sentinels, and all this stuff is going on. That women, she's kids, get back. Oh, look!
That just looks so good.
Yep. And but now
that issue.
What?
I think I have
The
that issue in the
epilogue?
omnibus.
The omnibus.
Because I have the omnibus of X-Men, so I think I have the event that this is supposed to be taking place in.
Really?
The scene, yeah, I'm pretty sure I do.
Well, it might maybe.
This is taking place after Phoenix, right?
I think so. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure. Where is that? Keep going. I'm listening.
But yeah, just look at it. It's another one. Look out. Again, though, it's them in the middle of it. And the girls, I love it. The daughters are loving this.
Yeah, this is cool.
Just look at it. The daughters are taking up after him. And then, no, we can't go yet. We want to see what happens. And yeah, he's so proud of him. Look, Nova.
Hey.
I'm Nova. I'm new, but I can ship those broken robot parts, help clean up. Gotta keep the evidence where it is until the crime scene's done with. But there are people trapped in the restaurant up there. Got it. Who is that? I think he said Nova. Yeah, Dad. Who's Nova? I don't know. Never seen him before. He said he's new.
Here we go. I got it. I do have it.
Ah, you actually have the actual issue.
Yeah, I have the issue. There you go.
So
I knew that looked familiar.
Yep. So yeah, we're seeing this from that perspective going on.
That's cool.
He's new. He's new. Get a picture. He's sort of cute. Ew. So sisters. Those are so sisters, aren't they?
Yeah.
So we stayed and watched. And this time they took the photos. Is that what it's like, Daddy? When you take all those pictures for your job? Is this tonight what it's like when you do it? Oh, it's been, look at this.
Oh, that's such a good collage.
It's a lot like this, yes. It's a lot, and a lot of times at least, it's news. It's things people need to know. Dangerous things, new things, cool things. It's scary, it's exciting, it's thrilling, all of it at once. And I want to draw a conclusion, about tonight. Sum it up in a pithy journalist line, type 30 and file away. But there'll be time for that tomorrow. Maybe Tonight, though, it's not needed. Tonight's just the night and my kids and the world. Now, let's go find the end of the cab. Your mom's going to freak out when she finds out I let you two stay and watch. And that's it.
I love that.
Here is some of the details of weaving all the events in. Look at all this. And this is where they explain everything. This is where they fit in all of the events. Oh, look, Popeye!
Oh, there you go.
And look, there's a young Nick Fury. Just look at all. This is how they show where everything fit. Even they would get all these other character references. Look at all this work, everything here. Oh, look, Medusa. That was Medusa there.
Okay.
Yeah, just look at all this. Again, they tell us where everything fits. Yeah, Judgment Day, all of that. Again, all these. That's what I love about these. And this is from the annotated edition. Oh, look at all this. These are from the proposals. This hardcover has a lot of stuff.
The trade paperback has this.
Has some of all of this?
Yeah, it has the art part.
Yep. And then here's some of the introductions from Marvel Age 130. Then here, all this are the scripts, which I'm going to breeze through. While I'm doing that, what'd you think?
I like that. I love this story so much. It's one of my favorite Marvel books because because as you know, Robert, one of the things that got me into comics is the idea that they're like modern like mythology, and this really like
makes that clear.
Yeah, very much. Particularly how he calls them all the Marvels, how you see them from like the ground floor, and how they're like gods.
Yep. Oh, by this. Oh, yeah. It was issue 98.
Yeah. There you go.
Yep.
I knew. As soon as I saw them all gathered there, I was like, "Wait a minute, there! I've seen that."
Yep. All of this, just 16 pages. There's some of the commentary. This is from the 10th anniversary hardcover. They include just about everything. Oh, look at this. They actually include what's in the newspapers. They actually wrote out the newspaper articles.
Oh, yes.
Look at all that. So if you ever wanted to do it, you got to upgrade to this version.
I probably will because it has all that cool stuff.
Yeah, seriously, just look at all this. Now here is his models. Like, look at that for Human Torch.
Yeah, I have the art books for Alex Ross for Marvel and DC, and he goes in depth into that.
Yeah, all of this, like it's folks sitting in for Sue and Reed. Oh, look, there's the original bit that the girl was based off of. Look at that. Now look, Superman and Barbie. Oh, look at this for Ben.
That's good. It's clobbering time.
Yeah, but look at that.
Yeah.
They had to make it styrofoam. Oh, look what they did. They used a model. Up, Spidey. Up, there's Gwen. Up, look, there's Jonah.
There you go.
But yeah, again, this is such a classic. And what else could be said, right?
Yeah.
And what did you think about that epilogue?
I like the epilogue, particularly as someone that read that issue as well. So I'm like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, you see an example of where, seeing it from a different perspective.
Yeah, that is 100%. Because a few of those stories in the main book, I either read or heard of, but this is the first one where I was like, I recently read that. So I was like, okay.
Yep. So now you're like, oh, so that's what happened.
Yeah, so that's how this, that's the genius of this book, because it's like all put in there. It would be kind of cool if like they did this for DC, but I understand.
No, that eventually actually led into what's it called? Astro City. No, okay. Astro City.
Okay.
Justice, Kurt Busiek was not involved with Justice, and Kurt's the one who would give us the perspectives. Alex is all about the big heroics. But I gotta still say though, the one downside is that the Gwen stuff. I hate to say it, for me, it's both one of the best parts, but what it did in the long run.
Yeah, angelic Gwen with the light coming down from heaven.
Sainted Gwen. It's what
Sainted
people.
Gwen.
Because that's what she was, and this is the point. And then Jeff Loeb didn't help with Spider-Man Blue.
There's a lot Jeff Loeb did not help with.
No, okay. I mean, again, that was a great story too, but that's the point where it was a love letter to Gwen.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem. It's when they made it a love letter to Gwen. And again, like I said, I get what Kurt was going for here. Would you agree with that? Like,
yeah,
it's like her death. You needed to build up to it, have it be like, oh, she's this angel, and then she's dead.
Mm-hmm.
And because remember, up at this point, he was ready to absolve Spidey. That's the whole point he was doing. And then he just didn't care.
Mm-hmm.
But then he goes too heavy-handed.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you get the heavy-handedness.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's that double-edged sword. I think this is the prime example of a double-edged sword writing. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
It's like, you need it. But do you blame it? But you can't blame it for what came afterwards. That's the other thing.
Yeah, because I'm sure that when they wrote it in this time period, they didn't know that other writers would like take that and like really ramp it up.
Yep. Or you have fans who would then say like, now, of course, again, Kurt did it. Alex, when he started making it very clear where his stance was, although, you know what helped win him over for Peter and MJ? Well, first of all, he hated Wolverine. Did you know that?
Really?
He hated Wolverine to the point where in Earth X, at least the first Earth X mini, he was fat and married to a Jean Grey who got fat too. But you know what won him over?
What?
Hugh Jackman.
Oh, yeah.
The movies won him over and he finally understood Wolverine.
All right, there you go.
But
that's how you do it.
You know what helped win him over for MJ? Not
what?
Entirely. He still thinks Gwen is it, but Mayday.
Oh, interesting.
Mayday was one of the things. It didn't perfectly do it, but it was enough they included her in the third and final Earth X book, Paradise X.
Oh, there you go.
At least a version of her. That's the version of Mayday that has the Venom symbiote on her.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, for here, it feels like this is. I get it. It's here's the other thing. I get it. It's basically the death of Gwen was like if the Silver Age was a speeding car, and the death of Gwen was the brick wall that forced them into the Bronze Age. It's
the end of the innocence of Marvel.
Exactly. Even though there was probably moments beforehand, this was the one for everyone. So I get it. It's like he's hitting a brick wall, and I don't want to say reality, but that's why. But again, you get what my complaint is, right?
Yeah, 100%.
You get why it's so frustrating for me to describe, right? It's like,
yeah,
it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
But can you call it heavy-handed when it also you get what he's going for with the heavy-handedness?
The part where I think it gets really heavy-handed is where he's like, Spider-Man failed Gwen. They all failed Gwen. I'm like,
that's the bridge too far.
Yeah, they weren't there. What are you talking about?
Of course, also when it's saying, like, he's saying about his wife, she didn't understand. To her, like the rest of the world, Gwen was just a girl. Too bad she died, but it's not like she was anyone important. But that was the point, blast it.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I feel that's Alex's influence.
Mm-hmm.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Again, I get why he feels like she was this angel of a girl. But if he knew her longer, he'd realize, no, she's no different than any other girl.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, I think that's the whole thing. Yeah. You know what this represents? This represents people who just looked at Gwen before she died.
Yeah.
And you think that might be Kurt's commentary, you wonder?
You mean people that just became aware of Gwen after she died because of the story?
And they, as far as they know, that's all she's ever been. So maybe this is a deconstruction of it too.
Could be. That's actually a good point.
I'd have to ask him on Blue Sky or something because Kurt's over there now, but because he doesn't do interviews anymore. But yeah, overall though, 10. I give it a 9.5 out of 10. The Gwen stuff takes it down half a point.
I would say so too. Yeah.
So 9.5 out of 10. It is so shy of perfection. Again, it's the double-edged sword that's kind of like you can't get away from it.
Yeah, you can't.
But hey, after this, next time you and I are on, we'll be going over Eye of the Camera.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yep, and look at this. It's by the time of the Silver Centurion armor and everything.
Yes, I love that armor.
Basically, this one, you want to know where this one ends at? It ends at the fall of the mutants, when the X-Men believe to sacrifice themselves.
Okay.
So yeah, it starts with it starts around the point of Under Siege.
Okay.
Actually, no, a bit before that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and then it ends with the fall of the mutants.
Okay.
But that'll be next time.
Okay.
Until then, though, I'll see you guys on the next one.
See you.
Take care.